OPPO and vivo have both launched their Ultra flagships, and many of you asked for a direct camera battle between the OPPO Find X9 Ultra and vivo X300 Ultra. So today, we're putting both imaging systems head-to-head. Big thanks to my tech partner over in China for providing this footage. I really appreciate the support in making this video happen. Hey everyone, Stella here from techiestreet. If you're into staying updated with the newest gadgets, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our latest tech content. As always, let's start with the camera hardware. The OPPO Find X9 Ultra has 4 rear cameras, plus OPPO's second-generation single-lens color reproduction lens. The vivo X300 Ultra uses 3 cameras and introduces its new blueprint primary color lens. Their focal lengths are also different. OPPO offers 14mm, 23mm, 70mm, and 230mm, while vivo uses 14mm, 35mm, and 85mm. The main sensors are fairly similar. For focal lengths below 35mm, vivo uses a high-spec ultra-wide sensor. OPPO's 3 telephoto cameras use slightly larger sensors than vivo's, and OPPO also adds a 10-degree telephoto lens. Color reproduction is another major difference. Vivo is using this type of lens for the first time, while OPPO is already on its 2nd generation. With such impressive hardware, the real question is simple. Which Ultra performs better in real-world shooting? Let's find out. For testing, we compared straight-out-of-camera photos in the same locations and at the same time. Both phones stayed on default color settings, with automatic exposure handling different lighting conditions. Outdoor daylight. In most daylight scenes, the vivo X300 Ultra produces a brighter exposure. It also holds darker areas better, creating stronger contrast. OPPO's 3x shots, however, can sometimes appear slightly hazy. With the main and ultra-wide cameras, vivo's brighter exposure can occasionally look washed out, so depending on the scene, lowering exposure manually may help. Color reproduction also shows clear differences. With yellow subjects, vivo shifts slightly toward orange, while OPPO separates different yellow tones more accurately. For green leaves under direct sunlight, vivo tends to look more yellow-green than OPPO. OPPO also produces deeper reds and blues under sunlight. Without direct sunlight, though, the difference becomes much smaller. Overall, vivo generally delivers more vibrant images and stronger contrast. Detail comparison. Now let's look closely at detail. Because both phones use different focal lengths, we compared them at matching perspectives. Both offer 14mm ultra-wide. Here, OPPO is noticeably sharper than vivo, both in the center and around the edges. However, OPPO also shows noticeable chromatic aberration near the edges. There's another interesting detail. With default settings, OPPO captures higher resolution images in bright conditions. The trade-off is larger files. For example, this children's slide photo takes around 17 megabytes on OPPO, compared with only 6.4 megabytes on vivo. Next is 23mm. This is OPPO's native main camera focal length. On vivo, the same perspective requires cropping the ultra-wide. So the result isn't surprising. OPPO clearly wins in detail at 23mm. The same advantage appears at 28mm. But at 35mm, things change. 35mm is vivo's native main camera focal length, while OPPO is already using a 1.5x crop. That gives vivo a clear detail advantage at 35mm. Moving to 2x, around 50mm, vivo's strong sharpening becomes even more obvious. But OPPO's high-resolution shots still preserve plenty of detail, so actual resolution is surprisingly close. The catch? OPPO files are about 10 megabytes larger. At 70mm, OPPO uses its native 3x telephoto, while vivo crops its main camera to 2x. Surprisingly, OPPO doesn't gain much. In most scenes, both are fairly similar. Now at 85mm, vivo's native telephoto kicks in, and this is where things get interesting. Vivo pulls ahead with impressive detail, while OPPO falls behind. But OPPO has one final weapon, its 230mm 10x telephoto. Despite some chromatic aberration, OPPO resolves fine details much better here. The spiderweb test makes it obvious. OPPO captures the web clearly, while vivo almost completely loses it. Now, let's move into night photography. Under warm lighting, OPPO keeps warmer colors, while vivo looks cooler with stronger contrast. That makes vivo's images appear slightly darker. But in extremely low light, the result flips. OPPO becomes darker than vivo. This could be linked to OPPO's automatic white adjustment, similar to what we saw during the day, lifting whites in darker areas while controlling blacks in brighter areas. Now, check out this scene with the extremely bright billboard. Neither phone's ultra-wide or main camera delivers the ultra-level performance we'd expect. The billboard is badly overexposed, and zooming in can reveal ghosting. OPPO does have a small advantage in highlight retention. Interestingly, both phones' telephoto cameras actually perform better here than their main cameras. Now let's quickly go through each focal length. At 14mm, vivo wins. At 23mm, OPPO clearly wins. At 35mm, vivo takes the lead. Around 50mm, vivo has a slight edge. At 70mm, OPPO produces sharper, more natural details. At 85mm, vivo captures richer detail. And at 230mm, OPPO wins again. Overall, these results are closely tied to each phone's native focal lengths and camera hardware. Finally, let's test portrait mode. Both phones used background blur with an f.28 aperture. Even with identical settings, vivo applies noticeably stronger blur than OPPO, but neither phone perfectly separates the subject every time. In one shot, OPPO struggles with some branches, while vivo has a similar issue in another scene. For color and skin tones, vivo produces rosier skin with stronger contrast. Meanwhile, OPPO gives this scene a slightly yellowish tone. Of course, this comparison is only a reference. The best choice ultimately depends on your own experience. One thing is clear. Because these phones use different native focal lengths, detail performance changes depending on the lens being used. So when choosing between them, think about which focal lengths you use most often. Color is more subjective and comes down to personal taste. Personally, after using both, I feel the vivo X300 Ultra delivers the better overall imaging experience. But what do you think? Which takes better photos, the OPPO Find X9 Ultra or vivo X300 Ultra? Drop your choice and your reasons in the comments. That's it for this comparison. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!